What qualifies a Jew for Gehinnom?
Oh. Being human qualifies you. But first let's say, what is Gehinnom? Gehinnom is called hell, it's called purgatory, whatever. Every soul that leaves the body is going to go through some trauma. The soul coming into the body goes through some trauma. And that's good. So imagine the trauma of leaving the body after getting quite attached to it. So every soul that was in a body that leaves the body and goes back to just being a soul is going to go through some trauma. Adjustment. Which means it has to kind of forget the pleasures of the body and get back into enjoying the pleasures of a soul. So it's all a matter of switching pleasures. And that's what heaven and hell are. Heaven means the pleasure of being there. Hell means the adjustment you have to go through to get there. So everybody goes through some adjustment. If you're innocent, you're a child, God forbid, who passes away, not much of an adjustment. So an hour, 2 hours, enough. And you're in heaven. If it's a longer attachment to the body, or a very serious attachment to the physical, really indulgent and so on, it may take up to 12 months to really make that adjustment and just go back to being a soul. Maximum of 12 months. Maximum. We don't assume that the average person needs the maximum amount of time. That's why we say Kaddish for 11 months. So the way to think of it is this. Everyone who's been in a body is going to have a little shock, a little trauma, being disembodied. But it's all on the way to heaven. So hell means getting to heaven can be hell.
Does Judaism believe in an idea of reincarnation?
Oh yeah, we've all been here before. That's why we're so tired. It's like, this is the third time around, it's exhausting. Yeah, all souls need a little more to fulfill the maximum good that a soul can bring to the world. Sometimes 80 years is not enough, 90 years is not enough. You come back. But only the part of the soul that needs to do more comes back. The part of the soul that did its job stays in heaven. So we've all been here before, and this is hopefully the last time around. Because once Mashiach comes, no more of that.
So I learned in the past that people could be reincarnated into life forms that aren't human. Is that true?
That wouldn't be called really incarnated. It's more of a trap or something. Because if a human soul enters an animal or a vegetable, it doesn't become the soul of the animal. They're not compatible. So it's just a soul stuck in an animal. Not the same as a reincarnation, where you have a life to live in a human body. So it's a form of cleansing, or all the punishments, all the negative experiences are all cleansing methods on the way to heaven.
So if a person was sent back to earth to fulfill a responsibility that they didn't fulfill in their past life, why would being reincarnated into a tree, for example, help fulfill that mission?
It doesn't. That's why it's more of a punishment than a mission. Punishment meaning a cleansing. So it's not that you're going to accomplish more good, you're going to make up for some damage you did or something. But that's weird. You have to have done something pretty horrendous.
Okay.
So I've heard Talmud talks a lot about demons. Is that something we need to worry about today?
No,
Why?
they have been banished from civilization. Whatever they were, are, whatever, I don't know. But in a sense, demons are any force stronger than you that is negative. So if you're overcome with anger, for example, that's a demon. If you're overcome with jealousy, that's a demon. If you're overcome with kindness, that's an angel. So there are forces bigger than ourselves that we sometimes become victim to. So in that sense, yeah, you can be demonic if you allow yourself to be overcome by more anger than your system can handle. So if you're moderately, reasonably angry, that's your personality. But when you get overwhelmed by it, who just took over? Who's in charge now? It's not you. So that you could call that being possessed.
So would that be something that God would send to us to help us like perfect ourselves, or
Yeah.
why would that happen?
Yes. All of that evil has to become perfected and transformed and sweetened, and when you're picked to be the one, you're being tested. Obviously, you can do it.
Does Judaism believe in a Messiah?
We invented the idea. What are you talking about? Of course. Messiah means God created the world with a certain vision. That vision must succeed. The world must become godly the way God wants it to be. And in order to understand and know how to function in such a perfected world, we're going to need some new instructions, some new wisdom, and the teacher of that new wisdom is Mashiach. So primarily, Mashiach is a teacher. How are we going to function when we don't have problems?
How will we know when Mashiach has arrived?
Oh, if we don't know it, then he's not here.
Will Mashiach be a man, or could it be a woman?
It's got to be a man, because women are already perfect. It's got to be a descendant of King David who will step into King David's royal garments and become the royal family of Israel. That's the main identifying sign. A descendant of King David who steps into those shoes.
Is there anything we can do right now to bring Mashiach sooner?
Not only is there something we can do to bring Mashiach, we've been doing it for like 2,000 years. So the correct way of thinking of it is not Mashiach will come. That sounds childish, and the correct way of thinking of it is Mashiach is coming as a result of our efforts. So every time we do a mitzvah, every time we do something positive, even just a positive thought, an optimistic feeling, brings improvement to the world, and that brings Mashiach. So it's not Mashiach will come, but Mashiach is coming. And everything we do either hastens it or